live on Saturday, March 14th. And how many days into the NFL draft?
38.
40, but close enough.
I thought it was 42 the other day. Was that only 2 days ago?
Yeah, Wednesday, right? So it was like 42 days and like 17 hours or something. So now it's 40 days, 12 hours. So we are slowly approaching. Obviously, free agency's slowed down a bit, but still some names out there. Aaron Rodgers, Kirk Cousins, most notable quarterbacks out there. Najee, Brian Robinson, Mixon, if he's ever going to play again with his phantom foot injury. I shouldn't call it phantom because that makes it seem like it's not real, but don't really know what the hell's going on there. And it's still some good receivers. Diggs, Tyreek Hill, Debo, Juwan Jennings, Ayuk. Those are some guys that could be players next year. So still some and Goddard and Njoku, of course. So but we did have a couple signings happen since we did go live on Wednesday, but we can get into that. We got our listener league, basically almost all paid for. So we're going to be doing a live draft here, hopefully in 3 weeks or so. We'll try and figure that out. So we'll be on the lookout for that. And how's it going? How's your Saturday morning and lack of news, I guess.
Yeah. So the listeners may notice the change of scenery. I'm in Yuma, Arizona, visiting our sister for the air show. So, yeah, I'm excited about that. It's hot as shit here. It's actually not that bad for Yuma, I guess, but it is March and it's like in the 90s. So, what are you going to do?
Yeah. Seems like there's a bit of a heat wave happening in a lot of places in the country. So, winter is almost officially over. Marv, what's up? We got Marv in our listener league, the one I just mentioned, that we're going to be, again, hopefully drafting live the first 12 rounds in just a few weeks. But yeah, we did have some signings. You guys have any questions, concerns, trades you made, trades you want to make, signings, all that fun stuff, drop them in the chat. But we are going to discuss some of the other players that were signed since Wednesday. Really only 2, I think. If we miss someone, please let us know. But we'll start off here with Marv. He says, should I send the 108, the 202, and 27 third for BTJ, Michael Wilson, and Keaton Mitchell? Interesting one. So 108 for BTJ. Which side are you on there?
Give me BTJ.
Yeah, I think it's kind of like right. I think it's pretty like close. Like it's a risk move, right? There's a risk there, but it's a huge hit, right? If BTJ hits, he's worth like a top 5 pick, top 4 pick, or maybe even more. Who knows? So basically, you're probably looking. I assume this is Superflex, Marv, 14-man league. You ask what BTJ's 1-for-1 value there. I think it's right around here. Like if it's anything lower, I'm pretty comfortably taking BTJ. If it's anything higher, I would think about cashing out and just like, you're kind of like cutting losses potentially. You're making the safer move. Right now you're looking at, so again, Love, Mendoza. So RB1, QB1 gone. Wide receiver 1, 2, 3 gone. That's the first 5 picks. You're probably looking at wide receiver 4 and 5 probably gone, and maybe tight end 1. So what are you looking at here? Wide receiver 6, RB2, maybe wide receiver 5, RB2, tight end, QB2. So I think it's right around that value. The 202 for Michael Wilson. What side are you on there?
I don't know if the Michael Wilson thing's going to be real. I don't know. I guess Jacoby's going to be the starter there. What else do they get? Do they get like Gardner Minshew?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, so I don't know. I mean, it could be a nice hit if he does what he did last year, but I mean, it was his fourth year in the league or third year in the league last year, Michael Wilson.
I think it was his third
Yeah, probably third, right?
year.
Because he's still on the Cardinals.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I really don't know what to think about him. I think I'd rather just take the pick, honestly.
Yeah.
What's that?
Oh, again, I think this is like right around where the conversation for Michael Wilson starts. Anything like if you're giving me a first, I'm probably just going to take it. Although there's a good chance that like the 111 and the 202, the 112 and the 202 are kind of in the same tier. But again, a first sounds way better than the 202 in terms of trading it maybe between now and the rookie draft. He is impossible. Like, I don't think anyone can give you like, we can say what we think, but he's one of the hardest like players in Dynasty to really him and BTJ. You're talking about two really hard players to kind of like know what their value is because like it wasn't just that Michael Wilson was like good for a stretch. He was like we talked about this a lot. He was like a top 5 wide receiver during that stretch.
It was crazy.
Again, from week 11 to 18, his 17 game pace was 187 targets, 119 catches, 1,650 yards, 13 touchdowns. Like that is elite wide receiver stuff, like top 5 wide receiver stuff.
Yeah,
that's what makes it really hard for me.
Let me read you some Michael Wilson trades where it's just him on one side. This is over the last 4 days. Some of them are pretty like, wow, people are excited. And then some of them are kind of like, okay. So Michael Wilson straight up for Tyler Algier. It's like, okay, like whatever. But listen to this one. Michael Wilson for the 107 and Rashid Shaheed. Yeah, Michael Wilson for Kyle Monangai. The 20. Yeah, the 205 and the 405, the Michael Wilson straight up for the 109. So you can see just from like all those things, he's going for he's all over the board.
Yeah, literally.
So kind of interesting. Yeah, it is, I think, nice in a way that Brissett is coming back. Obviously, we pointed out a lot that whenever Brissett, when it was like when Marvin Harrison was on the field, Michael Wilson had his down games, right? I'm pretty sure just by looking at it, I'm just going to take a guess here. Marvin Harrison played in week 13. Michael Wilson had 3 for 36. Marvin Harrison played in week 16, maybe, I don't know, 2 for 52 and a touchdown. Like, I don't know. I forget how many games. It wasn't many games. 1, it wasn't many games. 2, it wasn't like Marvin Harrison was producing at a crazy amount. It's just Michael Wilson wasn't getting 15 targets. He was getting 7 to 8. So I don't know if you're checking this right now, but is it week 13, 16, and 18? I don't know about 18, but week 13 and 16 that Marv played? Yeah, 13 and 16. Weeks 9 and 10 also. Yeah. Okay. And Brissett played those games? Because I see Michael Wilson like taking off in week 11. Yeah, Brissett started in week 6. And Marv played in week 6 and 7 or no? Oh shit, 6, 7. He only played a quarter of the snaps in week 6, most of the snaps in 7, 9, and 10. Okay. Those are like the first few games. Yeah. So basically, Michael wasn't really doing much then. No. He had 4, 4, and 7 targets. So basically 4, 4, 7, 7, 3. Those are his targets when Marvin Harrison was on the field. And that's like the hard part about him. I'm fine with this trade. And then 27th third for Keaton Mitchell. I'd probably just take the 27th third, but I am a little bit intrigued by Keaton Mitchell going to the Chargers. They need speed. Keaton Mitchell is one of the fastest players in the NFL. I think I saw something like
there was like they showed like all the players to reach like over 20 miles an hour or 21 miles an hour. I think Keaton Mitchell led the NFL on like 70 carries, where he was like tied for first. It was like him and then like Achane, who had however many touches or carries Achane had. And so like Mike McDaniel's speed, I actually think Keaton Mitchell could be like a poor man's Achane. Like think back to like the Raheem Mostert Achane year, Achane's rookie year, Mostert's big touchdown year. I can kind of see that with like the Hampton Mitchell backfield. Obviously, Hampton better than Mostert, and Achane, Mitchell not quite as good as Achane, but like kind of like a poor man's Achane that year. I think it's a lot of fun. So I actually think like this is like a kind of a swing for the fences trade, because you could be getting huge pieces here at BTJ and Michael Wilson. So I don't mind that trade. I think they're right around value. It's just, it's risks. There's risks involved. Like the safer side is to go with the 108 and the 202, because those are going to increase in value over the next month and a half. And that player taken at the 108, it's going to have some, some value, like insulated value there. Like, the RB2 of the draft classes, even if he's not great next year, he's still going to be pretty valuable. Whereas if BTJ and Michael Wilson suck next year, they're probably going to tank in value a little bit. So,
yeah. Just to like tell you, Marv, like what I'm seeing on Keep Trade Cuts trade database is he's mostly valued around straight up, probably for those first two picks. Maybe the 202 as the second pick is a little high, but I mean, there's still a lot of trades with him for
BTJ?
BTJ. I see him going for a couple of firsts for this year, and then all the way down to a couple of seconds, basically. So I guess it just depends on the manager, right? Like that kind of like rings true, like you said, Mike, about the basically like the valuation of him, because it could be huge, but the nice thing is we've seen the talent. Unfortunately, we haven't seen it with Trevor Lawrence, and there's more competition there. But also Trevor's playing a lot better, or he did last year. So all signs are pointing towards like Brian Thomas being relevant, just maybe not as good as we were hoping from his rookie breakout.
And something I brought up about BTJ when in the middle of the season was that I felt like we did kind of ignore a couple things from his rookie year. One, it was like he had a 4-game stretch where he was just like bonkers. Like he put up in those 4 games 33 of his 87 catches, so well over 30%, 33% of his catches, 431 of his 1,280 yards, right? So about a third there. 4 of his 10 touchdowns in 4 games at the end of the year. All the other pass catchers got hurt that year, right? Like I forget who they all were, but it was like Christian Kirk, I think Parker Washington was hurt, Evan Ingram was hurt, and stuff like that. And it was Mac Jones, right? And like that essentially like BTJ had a Michael Wilson season. Like Michael Wilson last year was like BTJ in 2024.
Yeah, I was actually going to make that comparison. It's like, oh, he had like a Michael Wilson stretch, which is just such a funny sentence. Like,
yeah. And, he was productive throughout the year. He had a big game in week 5, 5 for 122. But other than that, he was like catching 4 or 5 passes, getting 60 to 80 yards and the occasional touchdown. Like, he wasn't elite. So I'm fine with the trade and swinging for the upside, because that's how you win leagues, right? Is when you hit on players like that. But if you wanted to hold and maybe get a little bit more, maybe that pick, the 108, gets a little bit more valuable in your opinion, then that's fine too. I'm definitely more like fine with like the 202 for Michael Wilson than I am the 108 for BTJ.
Really? I'm actually surprised about that. I'm kind of the other side of it. But I think I'm keeping Mitchell for the third. Like, I don't know. I feel like you're getting a pretty good deal here with those picks, but I don't know. That's just kind of my gut reaction.
Talk about how the Jets are reinventing the defense from that. Yeah, they needed to. I mean, they didn't freaking catch an interception. Dude, Jets are going to have like 6 interceptions week 1 of 2026. I know it's, yeah, their QB still sucks, right? Who did they bring in?
Gino, right? No.
Oh, yeah. Gino.
Is it Gino?
Yeah, it is Gino. Yeah, what he's back on the Jets, man.
Yeah.
If you remember, Gino, obviously drafted by the Jets, 2015, Jets had a pretty good team. Gino, I think it was like in training camp, gets punched in the face because he like bailed. He bailed on a teammate's like camp that they were putting on for someone. Like he was going to come and be join the camp, and it was like a camp for kids, I think, or something. I forget who the player was. Gino bailed on that, refused to like pay for the plane ticket that the guy bought for him, and then like the guy punched him in the jaw, broke his jaw. Gino misses the year, and Ryan Fitzpatrick takes over. And Ryan Fitzpatrick actually has a pretty good year that year. Like Brandon Marshall was awesome, Eric Decker. That was Gino's like last like that was how he left the Jets, and then he goes to like the Chargers and then the Seattle and all of that stuff. So full circle. QB still sucks, but like I don't know. We saw Gino have like a decent year with Seattle, right? Like, can he just be solid for Garrett Wilson and Breece Hall? Can he be?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, it could be worse. That's for sure.
Yeah. Fields, maybe.
What's that?
Like Fields, maybe, or Connor, or not Connor Cook, Brady Cook.
Yeah.
So,
all those guys are going to start this year at some point.
probably.
They're not going to know what the hell they're doing.
Fresh says he has a ton of Giants exposure. Dart, Neighbors, Scattaboo, and now Likely. Someone offered me Strange plus an additional piece for Likely. He also has Chigaconquo. Thoughts or other strategy? What's that additional piece, Skate? Because I would rather keep Likely unless it's like a decent piece there.
It's got to be at least a second, I would think.
Yeah. Only because, like, not necessarily because I think Likely, we talked about this on Wednesday. I don't think Likely is going to be like this elite tight end or anything. I still think he has like another tight end problem like he did in Baltimore with Mark Andrews and Theo Johnson, because Theo Johnson's like more of a complete tight end and going to see the field. A late second. The reason why I kind of like to hold Likely is just because I know people really value him. They have him kind of like on that outside looking in of like the top 10, top 7, 8 guys, late second and Strange for Likely. Is that enough for you, or do you want to just kind of keep Likely?
I don't know. I'm fine with it. Like, I'm not like excited where I'm like, oh, I need that. But I think it's fine, honestly. But I feel like the hype around Likely has been there for the last couple of years, right? Where it's like, oh, he's going to do it. Like, once Mark Andrews isn't there, once he gets off the Ravens, and now he is, obviously. So it's kind of like, I don't know. I guess you just I feel like the hype dictates it should be a little bit more, but I'm fine with it, honestly.
Can that late second be a 27 second? I'd feel better about that. Better class. So even if it's a late 27 second, like you think it's going to be late, I think that's going to be probably better than like a mid 26 second. So, that's what I'm saying fresh about Theo Johnson. Like, he has that issue and problem there. But Neighbors could be a little bit slow to start the first. Like, Likely could have a big season because he has a huge like September, and he's like kind of the Giants' main offense here. So I would explore the down tier to Chigaconquo, because I think that's more of a down tier for a lot of people. And I think Chigaconquo is going to be kind of on par with these guys, kind of on par with Brenton Strange, definitely with Brenton Strange, and potentially with Likely, unless Likely like really hits. So if can I get even more from Likely to Chigakonko? Can I get a couple seconds? Can I get a second and another, piece, a dart throw from last year that didn't, a second round wide receiver that didn't hit last year? Something like that. I would be looking at that because again, we talked about Chigakonko. He's kind of in like the same situation as Likely. They're both pass catching tight ends. They both could be the number 2 target on their teams. They both have good quarterbacks, we think, right? Jaden Daniels and Jackson Dart. That actually, what's in Okonkwo's favor is I don't think he has strong competition from another tight end, at least as a pass catcher, on Washington right now. So I kind of like Okonkwo and going for him and getting a couple seconds, a second in a 27 third, or a second in Trey Harris or something,
Yeah. No, I do like that. I was thinking kind of the same thing, like, I wonder if you could just get a 27 second instead of the late second this year. But yeah, the down tier all the way to Okonkwo. And I think we're pretty clear about this. Like, we're not necessarily saying like, when we say like the big down tier to him, we're kind of just talking about like market value, right? Like, we're not necessarily saying like, I think you laid it out pretty well. Anyways, it's funny. Like, Likely, like, people are pretty hyped on him. But again, what's that?
You got some trades pulled up for him?
Yeah. And they're kind of, again, they're all over the place. But if this guy's asking for Likely specifically, but I see Likely going for Harold Fannin and a third, which, like, like, cool. Like, I know you wouldn't have expected that, right?
Straight up.
Yeah, I know. Isaiah Likely for Kamara and the 207. It's like, that's probably not too far off. I don't really want Kamara at this point, like, obviously given the age, but if you're going for it, like, fine. I don't know. It just seems kind of a weird trade. Likely just straight up for a late second. Likely for Bryce Young in a super flex league. Like, interesting stuff.
Real quick, Fresh, is this a tight end premium league? I'm curious about that. And the reason, and I'm going to show you why I'm going to bring it up, is you know how I like to use the Ward tool and stuff. This is our first Dynasty league, our home league, a non-tight end premium league. And again, this is wins above replacement, showing you the value of players. Running backs in this league format are more valuable because it's a half PPR 0.1 per carry. Trey McBride, even though he was awesome, and obviously a huge gap between tight end 1, tight end 2, so you have to factor that in. But, he was closer to wide receiver 4, closer to RB 15 in this league. So like non-tight end premium leagues, even the elites of the elites, again, factor in the position, the positional value you're getting. But like once you get to like outside of those guys, basically McBride, Bowers, and we'll see if a couple more sneak in. There's not a whole lot of difference between these guys. They're not making a whole lot of difference for your team. So try to capitalize on tight ends, I would say, for the most part. So,
yeah, he asked if he should target Chig and asked for the 27 second. I feel like you should be able to get more than just the 27 second. And
Chig.
Yeah, Chig. Sorry, I was like, no, he's. Go ahead.
No, I agree. No, because again, like I could see Chig and Likely being very similar, and so that's like obviously a big in the. You mean to remove you for a second? Or okay?
No, you're fine.
Okay. Obviously you're getting the 27 second on top, but I agree. Market value says you could probably get more because Chig's like all the way down there.
Yeah, he's tight end 24 right now.
Yeah. So can I get like even a third thrown in? Can I get a dart throw player? Something like that. It doesn't have to be crazy.
Yeah. I don't think the hype's quite there yet on Chig, I think he got kind of lost in a lot of the a lot of like what's been going on, like, so I think, yeah, like, I mean, just kind of looking at his valuation, like he's not really getting traded for much, like basically around second round value, like straight up for the 205, straight up for Kyle Williams, straight up for Tank Dell. Like these are all worth about a second,
Yeah.
So yeah, and he could be huge. I mean, obviously, like we don't know how he's going to fit in the offense. We know that Zach Ertz, like what he was doing with Jaden Daniels, like he was basically the safety blanket, and he was pretty good. He was definitely startable when he was playing. Ertz. Do we know if he's not on? Says plan to return next season. Okay.
I think he's a free agent right now. So he had a pretty. Did he have a ACL? But
it just says knee, so probably. Because it was.
He was productive.
Yeah, for sure. And honestly, Chig is much more athletic, obviously, than 35-year-old Zach Ertz. So I wonder what the yards after catch could look like for a guy like Chig if he's used in the same way as Ertz. I don't know. I think he could be like a really sneaky buy.
Yeah. One last thing I will say, and then we'll get to Hans' question here. The reason why we feel like you can hold out more for Likely is go look at what was it, 2 years ago now? Was it 2024 season when Isaiah Likely had that huge game against the Chiefs? He shot up to like tight end 7 or something crazy on Keep Trade Cut. And we know he's capable of having these big games. Yeah, it was 2024 week 1, 9 for 111 and a touchdown. And he just like exploded in value, was never even close to that, not even close. But he could do that week 1, week 2 of this season, and then you could trade him for even more because the hype's already there for him.
Yeah, dude, I remember that game. I didn't actually watch. I probably did watch the game because it was probably prime time.
It was the first game of the year.
City. Yeah, and people went absolutely ape shit with their fab. They're like, "Oh, Isaiah Likely, I'm dropping all my fab after week 1, like on him." Yeah. And it was just
fair.
Mistake.
Yeah. Oh, you're talking about for redraft? Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry.
Yeah. And that was the game where the game-winning touchdown. His toe was out of bounds, so he could have had another catch, another touchdown, and I think it was like a 15-yarder or something like that. Like, yeah, and so that's where like you have to factor that in as well. Hans says he's curious what you have Saquon Barkley for trade value in Superflex Dynasty, either what you buy or sell for him. Saquon Barkley for a contender, I think, is still incredibly, incredibly, incredibly valuable.
How high of a first are we talking is, I think, what the real question is, right? Like, because he's definitely worth late first. Like, and I'm just kind of, the rookies better than I do. How high up are we going? Are you going up to the 108 to call back to that Brian Thomas question? I feel like I would.
Oh, yeah. I'd do the 108. I'm debating even higher for a contending team. I'm debating even higher. And the reason I say that is because like we know Saquon can be top 5, top 3. And I always say this, especially in shallower leagues. One season of a top 3, top 5 at a position, I'll take that over 5 as like RB24 or RB20. Because that's, those don't win me leagues. Saquon wins me leagues. Is there concerns about the drop-off and stuff? Yeah. I mean, he still had 1,400 yards, 9 touchdowns, 37 catches. A new offensive coordinator coming in, which we're hopefully excited about. I might go as high as like a top 6, 105, 106 pick. Maybe the 106 is like, I think I'm still comfortable doing it. The 105, I think, is the tier drop-off right now. And that's where I'm like debating, do I even enter there?
I'm okay with it, honestly, but I'm gonna try. I mean, it all depends, right? Like, yeah, like you said, you got to be a contender. You got to be comfortably a contender too. And like,
Yes, that's a good point that you made. Go ahead.
yeah. So if you earned that 105, like, I don't know if Saquon is really gonna put you in that next category. You got to be kind of honest with yourself. But I'm fine with that. But I feel like if you're trading him to like a non-contending team, you should be able to get a little more, honestly, like back with Saquon. I'm guessing that's what the perception is, but I'm fine with it, honestly, because who's actually going to help you win this year? It's Saquon, not one of the rookies, most likely.
Yeah. And again, you have to have, even if your team won the championship last year, like, for example, I have a team that won the championship, I'd be hesitant trading for Saquon because I can still see, like, oh, here's where it goes wrong. Stafford is not MVP and Rodgers doesn't come back or Rodgers gets hurt. I'm like one or two pieces falling out. Like everything kind of just worked for me last year. I didn't have a particularly like super deep team, but it was just like no one really got that injured and everyone was good. So he says he's a contender. He has the 103, the 110, and the 203. I'd like to grab him as I have Tank Bigsby as well. I mean, can you do the 110, 203? Like I would smash trade that for Saquon if you are that contender, you know. But again, do make sure what Brian said was important, like comfortably a contender, not like, oh, if this guy hits and if this guy stays healthy, I'm good. But if that doesn't happen, I don't know. That's to me not a comfortable contender. Like, you know, Brian's team in our home league is like, you know, basically a super team, you know, adding Saquon to that team if you don't already freaking have him, I don't even know. Because you have all the other top running backs. That's like the team you want to add it to because he's just like super deep on that team, you know? So
yeah, I would float out the 110 first, or I mean, I don't know. Maybe that's too insulting. I don't, it kind of depends, but I don't know. Yeah, I'm totally fine. The 110 and the 203. Honestly, it's kind of sorry, excuse me. It's kind of interesting that you're saying you're a contender, but you have the 103 and the 203. I'm assuming you traded for those, and like the 110 was actually your pick. Hit up the team that you got those picks from, or I guess they're not the one who has Saquon necessarily, but I don't know. Maybe even just think about moving back from the 103 and getting Saquon as the upgrade piece. Like you might not even have to move back that far. Yeah. You might only have to move back to like that, you know, after that first or, you know, the second tier of guys, I guess, and still get another first back for it and Saquon. I don't know. I think the 103 is a very powerful piece this year because it's going to be one of those receivers or Mendoza, basically.
Yep. And, so, can you trade the 103 for Saquon and then get something on top, essentially? You know, something still a solid, something good on top. I'm looking at the trade database. Yeah, this was today, the 110 for Saquon. You know, someone made that trade, just the 110. So the 107 and a 28 second, sure, I'll do that. Trying to see just other Saquon only players. The 27 first and Jalen Warren, maybe. So yeah, float out the 110. So your team took the L because Chase Brown and Kenneth Walker did nothing at the beginning of the season and lost Shard to the ECL tear. Yeah. I get it. Yeah, float out the 110. I mean, again, sometimes like you said, is it insulting just to offer the 110 and then that might just like shut down all trade talks versus like you actually give, you know, maybe a slightly overpay according to the calculators of the 110 and 203. I'm fine with that.
Yeah. And honestly, I think that's a fair enough deal to someone who's trying to rebuild their team. Like they're getting 2 top 15 picks.
Yeah.
So, well,
agreed.
Yeah, that's how that works. Okay.
Unless it's a 10 team, which I guess no, because you didn't win the championship. So 2 quarterback dynasty. I went in on Shuck. My league mate went to the 108. Ultimately, he'd be my QB3 behind Lamar and Purdy. What is the outlook for Shuck? Is he worth the 108? So it's interesting you asked this because I was basically offered the same trade, I was giving up Shuck for the 109. And I decided against it mostly because like Shuck as of now, or like at the time, was like my QB2 behind Caleb. And so I didn't really have, like, I still don't feel comfortable. I have Flacco, Carr, Tua, Fields. Like, he's still my QB2. And so team build is important here. Now, you're talking about getting Shuck, becoming your 103, your QB3 behind Lamar and Purdy.
I think
it's fine. I think it's
good.
I
think it's a good move because you need a third quarterback, and you're not getting one with the 108, and that's probably around the level of quarterback that you can get. Would you rather have Malik Willis or Shuck for that 108?
Shuck.
How dare you? No, I'm just kidding. I'm just trying to think of who else you might be able to get with that pick.
Yeah. One of the reasons I say that is because I think the Dolphins are going to be bad this year, and they're going to be right there to draft a quarterback next year. There's a lot of quarterbacks probably coming out next year. So even if you're somewhere in the top 10, you're like kind of like a couple years ago when we had the 6 guys go in the first 12 picks. Like, it could be something like that. I'll take Shuck. I think he's proven more. Like, we just haven't for fantasy. I think if Malik Willis, if you told me they both started 17 games next year, then Malik Willis is the answer in terms of who's going to be better. But I don't know beyond that what Malik Willis is going to be. He's going to have to be really good and win the games to avoid getting someone. His contract is not like they're tied to him at all, you know?
Right. He's no Michael Wilson.
Yeah, right.
I know it's a different position, but
I'm fine with that. Go ahead.
Yeah, I would do it. Like, I'm fine with it for sure too, especially because you're saying you want in on Shuck. Like, get him 108. I'm totally fine with that, you know.
Yeah, and they got weapons there, man. I forget where he exactly was, but I went out and looked at like Shuck from the point he took. He started. What week was that? The moment he started, and I think it's a little surprising in a per game basis, like what he was. Week 9, he started. So from week 9 onwards, like Shuck was the QB 12 in points per game. He was better than Bo Nix by a whole point, than Herbert by a whole point. He was better than Hurts, Mahomes, Baker. He was, just behind, about a point behind like Dak and Goff per game. So he was really good as a rookie. He can run a little bit
without a whole lot around him either. Yeah,
exactly. Yeah, and they haven't really brought in a whole lot, but they got ETN. They're in position to draft a wide receiver in the draft. 100%. I would assume they're going to go for that. So
freaking Saints are going to win their division.
Arrows up on Shuck in that offense. So yeah, we're fine with that, Pro. And Han kind of agrees, and I agree with him. Like, it's very close, and yeah, I'm not selling Shuck for less than a first, and I'm not selling him for like much less than the 108, 109, depending on my team build. If he's my QB 4 or 5, which he very well could be, because a lot of people are getting him in the 3rd round of rookie drafts. Craziness again. We were saying take him top 15-ish in the draft, maybe 206-ish.
I'm just looking up the Fantasy Pros ADP for the rookies.
Do they have it as Superflex?
Come on. Yeah, I'm getting there, I think.
Yeah, I think like the 108, 109 is like the most I would let Shuck go for, and I would have to have him as like my QB4. Like, that's like, obviously, if you have even more than that, which would be surprising.
All right. Well, this is obviously not Superflex, so this is worthless.
What's up, Kevin? I sent you a DM, Kevin, on Discord about an orphan team. So if you're interested, let me know. Talk Tootin prices. I got an offer for him. Someone sent this year's 112. I'm about to counter for a 27 first. Where are we at with this legit value? Can you pull up some Tootin trades? I don't know if there's any good ones. I'm sure there are.
Yeah, let me see.
And the 112 from Tootin. They brought in Chris Rodriguez, and I know we can kind of like scoff at that or laugh it off a little bit, but like he's the type of running back that could just be very frustrating for a guy like Tootin. I personally don't think the Jags are going to just make Tootin their guy. Now, can he still be good? Yes. Can he still be like Tony Pollard when he was with the Cowboys and Zeke? Yes. Can he be Austin Eckler when he was with like Melvin Gordon? He can. But Rodriguez, and by the way, Rodriguez's big year in college, Liam Cohen was his offensive coordinator at Kentucky, I believe it was. So there's a little bit of connection there. 112 or Tootin, what are you thinking there?
I don't know. It's kind of tough. Like, I think Tootin's value is it's higher than where I'm kind of expecting it to be. Like, people are getting pretty excited about him. I mean, he's RB 22, right? So it's not like he's like crazy high, but so he jumped up into that late or how the hell do I say this? Low end RB2. There we go. Brain's not fully working, I guess. Yeah, so I'm fine with just taking the pick. My only concern kind of about doing that is, and I know you can't always like think this way because the past is the past, but you probably took him in the middle of the second round last year. So you're not really like cashing in like on a ton of value, and I feel like his value has only gone up since then because perception wise, right? Because so like the year wasn't great, but now with ETN gone, like I feel like that's been kind of like that's what's going to be pushing his value up. So I don't know if I really want to do that, honestly. I'm fine with like the valuation of it, but I don't know. I feel like, countering for the 27 first, I think that's way more like digestible. So some of the trades I'm looking at, like it's basically him for a late second this year and a random second next year. What's that?
That was recently.
Yeah. So that was yesterday. So I'm trying to find everything not since ETM, but I see him going for a 27 first, straight up for the 105. Oh no, it's him and Josh Downs for the 105, but still him straight up for Pittman, straight up for Terry McLaurin. So yeah, I think, like I said, I think the valuation is fine there.
I do too. I'm just skeptical. I like Tootin a lot. I'm a little bit skeptical on what he can become as a running back. But if you tell me that Chris Rodriguez is his only competition, then I would take the chance on this. Now we still have the draft to come. We still have, free agency is still out there. We mentioned there's a couple guys, Najee Harris, Brian Robinson, guys like that could be a little bit of a thorn in his side. But if you told me it was just Chris Rodriguez, then I think I would want the 112, or I would trade him. I would trade the 112 for him. It's just hard to know because we don't know. Like the Jags could easily take a running back in the second round of the draft. But, maybe you know this, Kevin, or anyone listening, did the Jags push for ETN? Like they didn't franchise him. So, but did they try and get ETN? Because that's a little telling as well. If they weren't really in on Walker, ETN, even some of these other guys like Dowdle or something, I don't know if we'll ever know this information, but that could be a little bit telling about what they think of Tootin as well. So I think it's fine either way. And again, like it's just, I think it comes down to a little bit on what you feel about Tootin and his overall profile and stuff. I do think it's fine either way of this trade. I think I would personally hold the 112 right now, and fully acknowledging that could be a big mistake. But if I was in that position, I think I would just keep the 112. Can they add something to that? can I get the 27 first, even if I have to throw in like, so if you are, if you have like a late second, like, can I trade a late second and two in for a 27 first? I'd much prefer that. Something along those lines. I'll even add a little bit to two in to get that 27 first. So hopefully that helps, Kevin. And yeah, let me know on Discord if you're interested. No pressure though. We talked about that. Lost Sharps. Sealy agrees. Shuck over Willis. Would you trade Shuck for Loveland?
I think just to go back to the Shuck over Willis thing, like I think in that scenario too, where you have Lamar and Purdy, like having like a solid option for QB3 is great, and you don't know if Malik is going to be that, like you were saying, like in the future. But also, if he has a good week one where he's like running all over the place, Malik Willis, you're going to start doing something dumb, like starting him over Brock Purdy, like because like and then it could all collapse. I was just kind of thinking of that scenario because I'm definitely guilty of that. Like, oh, he's going to be so good, like
yeah.
And you start starting him over guys that you probably shouldn't. But anyway, sorry.
No, I agree with that. Yeah. Shuck for Loveland, half-point tight end premium.
Yeah, I'd take Loveland. People are friggin' hyped on him.
Very. I mean, with DJ Moore leaving, you would take the Loveland side. What if Shuck's your QB3?
Less likely, but I don't know. I guess it depends on. Yeah, I don't know. I hate getting rid of my QB3. That's for sure. Like you need that insulation. So probably not, but like in a vacuum, I think I would rather have Loveland.
Yeah,
I'm starting to think that I'm the one who's dumb, like for not having him as high as, like there's a lot of smarter people. What the fuck did I just say? There's a lot of smart people who are smarter than me. Jesus Christ. You know what I'm trying to say. I think I'm the one who's kind of wrong on what Colston Loveland's going to be. So not that I don't think he's going to be good, but I mean, shit, like, tight end 3 and stuff. Like it's pretty hefty. I mean, someone's got to be there, right? So I don't know, but yeah, I feel like in a vacuum, I'd rather have Loveland.
Yeah, definitely. If I don't have a guy to replace, if he is my QB3 and I don't have someone to like replace him as my QB3, then I think I'm keeping Shuck. If I have a Malik Willis, if I have, as my like QB4, if I have a Bryce Young that can replace him, then I'd probably feel comfortable doing that. Even if, like, what if you had Kyler? So what if you had, your two starters? You had Caleb, Purdy, Shuck, and Kyler. Are you making the trade?
Yeah, definitely.
Okay.
I'm 100% fine with Kyler as my QB3.
Yeah. I don't know if he's guaranteed. I don't even know if we're going to get to it today, but he still has to win the job, which we all think he's going to. But so yeah, that's kind of where we're at there. It depends a little bit on team build, I would say. I sent a private message, by the way, I don't know if you saw, to you, Brian. On the
to me? No.
Yeah, on the stream.
Okay.
It's just about when you need to step out. Smash it. Nice. Win in our name. Yeah, keep us updated on how that goes. Yeah, I like that trade though.
When he said that, win in our name, I totally heard the Warcraft 2 knights in my head.
They say that?
Your name.
Oh yeah, they do say that.
Yeah. I was playing
by the way, guys,
last night on Luis's computer. God damn, that game is hard, man. It's so hard.
I don't know if I've ever played.
You don't remember playing Red Alert? Command and Conquer?
Oh, okay, yeah. I do now. Now that Good time to mention, join our Discord here. It's free to join. You'll know when we go live. You can get into a listener league with us. We do team reviews for your teams. So, but yeah, let me know when you have to step out, by the way. Right.
Yeah, I kind of want to try and get to there's the air show doesn't start for another half an hour. It's on the other side of town, but also I don't know. I'm not too worried about it being there in the sun for the entire day. So I kind of want to get to at least this one.
Okay, 109, 204, 304 on Marvin Harrison Jr. or Marvin Harrison Jr., Mike Evans, and Geno Smith. Middle tier team. Still have the 102. It's a 12 team start 12, so very deep leagues. Half PPR, half point per first down, 6-point passing touchdown.
Yeah. I'm definitely taking this. I'm taking the players.
Taking the players.
Yeah. 12 teams start 12.
Yeah, those guys are all easily starters. Even Marv last year, let me pull up where he finished. Because we play in 12 team start 12s in our listener leagues condo. And yeah, the guys you're debating to start each and every week gets a little gross, even for the good teams.
Yeah.
So half PPR.
I'm just thinking about so who's the most valuable person in this trade, right? Who's the most valuable player, perception wise? It's not Mike Evans, right? Even though he's probably going to score more points than the other two. No, probably not over Geno. But I'm just thinking the 109, I don't know, the 109 for Marv or the 109 for Geno. I'm fine. I'm 100% fine with those things. So
I wouldn't do it for Geno, but
no, not if you needed a quarterback in a super flex league.
Yeah, I would try to find someone. Can I get Shuck or something? Because people aren't excited about Geno either. So, and he seems to be a little bit of Jets have a lot of picks next year. He seems to be a placeholder here, unless he really turns that team around. So yeah. I'm just typing out here. Okay, so I'm just, no particular order. Love, Mendoza, Tate, Tyson, Lemon, Sadiq, Boston, maybe RB2, whoever that's going to be. So you're kind of looking at wide receiver 5, RB3, tight end 2, QB2 in that range. So I think Marv is worth more than that. Going back to Marvin so this is just a half PPR league, 0.1 per carry. So I bet you that half PPR. I don't think there's a whole lot of changing. Even Marv last year, he was 180th overall. He wasn't a starter because it's 12 by 12, 144 each week, but he was still a flex. It's a bye week replacement, and he was bad last year. So
yeah, and he was hurt a lot too. So I don't know if that's per game or what.
Sure, that's not per game. Yeah, that's not.
Yeah.
Per game. So
okay, so 109 for Marv. It's I'll take Marv. So then you're getting Geno Smith or Mike Evans for the 204. I would do that. And then the 304 for the other guy. So it's that's 100. I'd much rather have the players, especially because if your team doesn't get off to a good start, Mike Evans is probably going to get off to a good start, and Geno Smith's a quarterback in Superflex. So you'll easily be able to recoup value for those guys, I would think, assuming health and everything, minimum seconds, and so what are you really gambling with? And you still have Marv for the future, unless the bottom completely falls out.
Yeah, assuming those guys play like we think. And Mike Evans, I don't think he's going to be top 10, but I think he's going to be a top 24 receiver. And in a 12 by 12, that's a huge value. So those guys easily should be worth seconds next year if they're performing. So yeah, 100% right. It's the player side, and obviously Marv still has incredible value if he comes out and starts the season on fire. So I would take the Marv side. Keeper League keeps 7. Mahomes, Lamar, JT, CD. So is this just like there's
He He says the format, 2 comments down. Format is deep, super flex, 3 RB, 3 wide receiver, tight end, and a flex.
Is this like there's like if you keep Mahomes, he's your first round pick. Like it doesn't matter where you drafted him last year and stuff like that. Like could you get Ibuka for like the 10th round pick because he went in the 10th round or something?
I always find like I've never actually done a keeper. Like we've always just done pure dynasty, and like that stuff. It's so specific because if you're keeping that many people, are other teams doing it also? Like, what does the actual player pool availability look like? It doesn't look like you're starting the draft in the 5th round, anyways. Like as
it looks
far
like
as
just.
Okay.
Yeah, sorry. No, go ahead. Finish what you're
saying. And so like I don't really know what that looks like for the most part. Like it's gonna meaning that it's gonna be league specific, depending on like how many negative no value to the picks. Okay. So just
basically like you keep Mahomes, he's like you could lose your first 7 picks essentially is what I'm saying here. We're seeing here, Ryan. I mean the 7 that I would be keeping, I'd be keeping JSN. I'd be keeping Lamar, Mahomes, CD, JT, Garrett Wilson, Buka or Loveland. It's not a tight end premium. I think I'm gonna go Ibuka.
Yeah, because he's basically your wide receiver 4. No, I think that, I mean, if you think about it, if you were just drafting this team, right? Like it's a super flex league. So obviously like your first 2 picks are going to be the quarterbacks. And then you're getting basically in no specific order, Jonathan Taylor in the 3rd, I mean, it would be JSN, I guess, but you know what I'm saying? Like JT in the 3rd, CD in the 4th, JSN in the 5th, Garrett Wilson in the 6th, kind of a thing. Like once you're like getting like guys like Garrett Wilson in the 6th round, essentially, because he's probably, like he's behind all those other guys that I just named. It's like, that's easy. And if you change that name out to like Rico Dowdle, it's like, well, you're not so excited, no offense to Dowdle or anything, but.
Yeah. And so if you are keeping 7, those are my 7. If you like Ibuka and Loveland over Garrett Wilson, that's fine. I still think Garrett Wilson could be very good, especially with Geno, at least just being average. Like, that's all he needs to be. Like, look at what Garrett Wilson was doing last year with Justin Fields. Like, he was like a top 12 receiver in points per game before he got hurt because he was just catching, a decent amount of passes. So, but yeah, if you wanted to switch out Garrett, he's definitely like the last of those guys before we got to Loveland and Ibuka, so that's fine for sure.
Yeah,
and you should, if you're keeping that many.
Sorry, I was just gonna say personally, I would keep Garrett Wilson, but I'm not gonna like argue with you about it.
Yeah. If you're keeping that many, I feel like you should turn this into a dynasty league, right? Kind of already is, kind of. So. Would you trade Jordan Love for Loveland and a 27 second? In a non-tight end premium? No.
Not even in tight end premium. If it's assuming it's super flex.
I mean, maybe if it's like a huge tight end premium, like over 1 point tight end premium, I'd think about it. And again, team build really does play in here. Like, do I have someone to replace Jordan Love? So, but yeah, for the most part, I think I'm keeping the Love side. Sean, what's up? Happy Saturday. Any faith in Tungus in the first few weeks? Yeah, sure. Did they like bring him back? I know he was like a restricted free agent and stuff.
They better have. He was so good. Yep. He was so good when Kittle missed. We talked a lot about him in that week 17 championship week.
Yeah.
I think that's when you realized like how good he was when Kittle missed.
Yeah. So yeah, absolutely. If he's the guy, I'm 100% in on him being a low end tight end 1. So But that looks to be it. Appreciate all the comments. We didn't get to Kyler and stuff. Maybe I'll talk about him tomorrow when I go live. Kyler and Rashad White. I mean, I like both sides of it for sure. So Rashad White has a lot of opportunity. Kyler obviously can maximize his potential there, hopefully. So, but yeah, appreciate you all. Make sure to hit the like button for us. Subscribe if you're not. Join the Discord, all that stuff. And we will catch you guys tomorrow. Join us tomorrow evening. Peace.
Bye.